Hmm. Okay.
Hi, Wayne. I'm with Wayne
Hello.
from JALT. He's the director of JALT Conferencing, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
JALT Director of Conference.
And I am the International Conference Chair for Korea TESOL's 32nd International Conference, happening May 10th, 11th. We have, after this Friday, 4 more Fridays. So I'm excited to talk with a fellow conference designer, planner, and team leader. So let's get into it.
Yeah, okay. Let's go.
Yeah. The theme of my conference this year is embracing humanity in the age of AI. And it's kind of a three-pronged theme where we lean into, of course, tech stuff like AI, call, how to use technology, as well as reflective practice and multimodal learning, multilingual learning. So we want to also embrace diversity, of course. That's where we're at with the theme. And we are expecting about 270 plus presenters that have been registered,
Oh, wow. Okay.
combination of um, a lot of face-to-face speakers, a fairly good dose of online, and we're actually trying out a hybrid modality this year just for a few research presentations. We have 17 as of this week. We got one more invited speaker. So we have a lot of invited speakers, and they're coming from the Americas, plural,
Mm-hmm.
obviously Asia, and a few from Europe, like in total that I've seen so far.
Wow.
So we're pretty pumped. We have some bells and whistles on our event. We have some interactive options, including a poster contest and a video contest.
Oh,
We're going to have
cool.
some hashtags encouraging attendees, presenters, what they anticipate about the event, and also their interpretation of the theme of the event, because it's subject to interpretation. What is
Hmm.
humanity in the age of AI? We're kind of designing that as we go, we're developing it, and also takeaways. So those should be rolling out in the next few days. Um, we have a something inspired by JALT that I wanted to add, having attended your international conference in 2020
Hmm.
in Shizuoka, where we chatted and met,
Mm-hmm.
is a well-being room. So we have a
Oh,
director
yeah. Yeah.
that,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got yoga and sound bath and
Mm-hmm.
calligraphy and a few other things going on.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Um, a new thing we had this year, which I'm excited about, was a grant for LMIC, low middle income country presenters. So
Mm-hmm.
we have a couple of people who were awarded that grant due to a generous donation by KOTESOL member, Kara McDonald. And what else off the top of my head? Those are the things that I'm thinking about right now, as well as just wanting to let people know about what we're doing and encouraging them to come.
Wow. Yeah. It sounds like a really dynamic program already. Lots of
Yeah,
stuff going on.
I'm
Yeah.
super excited that you're coming.
Yeah,
And
no, actually, I'm super excited too. I think it's my we were just talking off air, and I was saying I think this is my first co-TESOL. I've been to Seoul once before for another conference, but I think this is my first co-TESOL. Yeah, so at least that wasn't online.
yeah, right, because to our listeners, I met Wayne when I was the chair of the 2021 National Conference, and it was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
We're looking for platforms to facilitate that event, and we connected with Wayne, Gary Ross, Bill Pillow, a few people who are, leaders in JALT, gave me really good ideas for how to facilitate that. And we borrowed your software and your engineer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciated the generosity with which you shared information. You also did a presentation, I believe, at the
Yeah,
booth.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this year, why don't you tell me about your presentation? You are a rep for JALT. I think we have a few coming.
Yeah, so
Have you as an IOC member?
yeah, so KOTESOL and JALT, we are like affiliate partners,
Mhm.
part of the Pan Asian Consortium.
Mhm.
And so we're part of a broader group. And yeah, we have like reciprocal agreements that we send reps to different conferencing or different organizations for their conferences, and they send reps over to our conference, JALT, which, yeah, if you see in the background, is October 31st to November 2nd. So that's, yeah, so that's how we kind of interact on that level. And so my presentation is about conferencing because actually one of the things that I ironically maybe don't get to talk a lot about as director of conference is actually leading a conference, like doing conferencing stuff. And let's see, I've been director of conference since 2019 for JOLT. Um, and as we just said, that was through the pandemic years where everything was online, and then figuring out how to get back face to face. So yeah, so there's a lot of knowledge kind of that Jalt and myself we've kind of built up regarding conferencing pre-pandemic, how it was done, um, which not too many people were doing online stuff. I don't think I was hearing anything about onlining, conferencing, hybrid models, different modalities. None of that stuff was being talked about. It was all how do you get to a location face to face to do a conference? If you can't get there, well, maybe I think I had seen maybe IATEFL way back when they did they videotaped some they videotaped some presentations and then put them online. So
Mhm.
you could go to their YouTube feed and you could see what was happening. Um, Maybe there was some live streaming, but not too many, because it was very, at that time, was very cost prohibitive. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the evolution, I think, in conferencing, what's happening now. Now it's kind of ubiquitous to see um, hybrid models,
For
people
sure.
trying hybrid models, doing on one maybe early in the year, one online conference and then another face-to-face conference or something split along those lines. Um, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what we can learn from those things and how conferences also, in the bigger picture, bring people together, whether it's online or whether it's face to face. Because obviously, I had never been to a COTESOL even before the pandemic. And then the pandemic happened, and then yeah, I meet you and a bunch of other people from your organization, and yeah, we've kept in touch,
Mhm.
and that happened online, and then was fostered more face to face when we were able to get back face to face. So there are some great opportunities that that came about through the online medium, and we're seeing those solidified. And in some situations, unfortunately, some people push back against is it always going to be online or is it always going to be face to face? Like there's this binary choice when really you're looking for more blended models. How can each medium optimize or help each other? So yeah, so that's what my talk is going to be about, and those things that we learn from conferencing, from going to conference, and obviously not just the academic-y stuff. Of course, we're going there for professional development, but also the social side.
Yeah.
Um, Conferences are a social event. People are going and they're chit-chatting and they're, you know, especially when for our situation we're dealing with a lot of international people, different cultures coming over borders, and so we're learning not only the professional side of things, our linguistic enhancement or teacher development, figuring out what our learners understand and things like that, our research studies and presenting our findings for our studies and, understanding new practices and stuff. You were talking about reflective practice and, those things are going to come about. But during those conversations, we also meet people. Uh,
Absolutely. I'm there
you
for it.
know yeah, so we meet people, we exchange niceties, we talk about, we reconnect with people, maybe people we haven't seen for a long time. um you reconnect with them, and when you reconnect with someone, you don't just simply say, hey, what are you studying, what's your latest research project about? You're like, hey, how's your partner doing, what's going on? I
Yeah,
remember last time we met so and so, is he doing all right? Like, stuff like that. We talk about, the things that connect us as human beings and as a
definitely.
society, and that obviously, uh, you know, goes into the realm of, personal talk and chit chat and stuff like that. So um, the the conference experience is just that. It's an experience on many levels, from the professional side to the social side, and that's what I'm going to be talking about um, in my talk. So it's a bit of a reflective about my time as director of conference for JALT and what I've seen, what I've done, not only professionally but also, yeah, personally.
I'm excited to hear about in advance. And at this time, it's especially having camaraderie and the leadership and the planning element is a real treat. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's going to be a big part of the talk as well,
yeah.
is that planning side, because that's also another thing that I wrote a short article about it in our post-conference publication
Mm,
a couple years ago. I think last year or the year before. I wrote an article about um, conferencing because um, I scheduled a it wasn't a workshop, but it was more like a discussion, open discussion session about conferencing. And I had that on the schedule. And initially I was the idea was um, basically to get some JALT members together, and we would part of the conference team, and we would kind of reflect on, what's going well, what's not going well, what can we change for the next time, etc. But some people who were not kind of JALT conference planners came, and it kind of morphed into more of a conferencing best practices talk, like what's really good for, what's going well, but what could we do better, and what are sort of some best practices for conferencing. So I thought I would take that session and write it up in a paper, and I was allowed to um, go to the. I approached the editors of our post-conference publication and asked them, "Hey, would it be okay if I wrote up this session as kind of like a lead article, kind of like leading into the overall post-conference publication, because it's not really a research thing. I didn't. It's not less like a vetted presentation or unvetted presentation, and because I'm director of conference, I sort of have a I sort of have a bit of weight behind, like, I could say to the people, hey, I want to write an article, give me space. And probably not
bring
too
the
many,
weight around.
yeah, probably not too many people be like, well, that's not really how we do it. And then I was just like, well, I'll just go get board approval. I'll talk to the chair of the publications. I mean, that's one way to do it, but I feel that's the wrong way. That's the unethical way to do things, because they have a process. Our post-conference publication has a process, and I wanted to honor and respect that process because we have some very capable, really cool people running the post-conference publication.
Mhm.
So I want to say, hey,
Agree.
this is
Yeah.
my proposal. What do you think? And I'm definitely ready to work with any editor to, get this into better shape, etc. And it was really great. Yeah, I got to work with at that time, the assistant editor. She was really cool. Bethany Lacey, she was like, she really improved my initial draft really, really well. She pointed me in really cool directions of gaining knowledge about best practices and whatnot. And I think the product came out really well. So I kind of been like, hey, I would like to maybe take this a step further and talk about it. Maybe I think this would be really cool if I, took this and kind of also presented about it in a more formal way now that I've written it down. So that's kind of where the impetus for this thing came out of as well,
Hmm.
is that, and again, not too many people see that stuff. You know, I think as language teachers, we go to these conferences, but we don't really we see the outcomes, right? We see like, oh, this looks great and that was here, but behind the scenes, nobody really sees the months and months and months of planning and discussions and things that lead up to it.
Yeah,
So,
there is so much that goes into it. And I think your point is really on point in that not just the conference, but the organization itself is so
mm,
multifaceted, and there's so many entry points and perspectives about what it is and what's going on. And it's like a living, breathing entity
yeah,
upon itself, like the conference as well as the organization. And I think, depending on someone's entry point, it can really look different, and
mm,
it's constantly evolving. Um, and I really love also how you mentioned that we need to remember it from the veteran planners, behind the scenes perspective, and to reveal that and make it more human, as well as remember how we feel when we first joined these events and how our perceptions have changed. And
mm,
like you said, we have to consider it just an opportunity to build our community and of like thought leaders
mm,
academically, not to mention that academia has to and will be and is changing a lot. And
yeah,
as educators and researchers, we are in the middle of this flux. And to humanize it as well as to take away some of the, um, well, some people come to these events with a little bit of nervousness about how they should proceed and expectations.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
really
yeah,
designed by the people who show up, and
yeah,
it can constantly be changing as well. You should definitely consider contributing to our conference publication, KOTESOL Proceedings. Dave Schaefer is editor, as well as our invited speakers director. And we welcome articles that are of all kinds, definitely
okay, yeah, definitely
talking
for sure.
about what your talk was aiming for. It can be based on any aspect, theory, practical elements. And that's a really good point. Like, people want to know these things. And we also don't know what people want to know. We want to invite people to share
Mm,
their perceptions. And conferencing is, I hope, something really fun and very individual as well. You know, it can be quite overwhelming when you look at the program and you think, how can I possibly? There's a big FOMO element.
yeah, yeah,
You
for
can't see
sure.
everything. A good conference is going to leave you wanting more.
Yeah,
It's okay to take breaks. And the cool thing about face-to-face events is you can go off and you can eat that food that you want, or spend a little extra time with someone that has inspired you or you need to talk with. And yeah, I think being open to the unexpected as well as having a few intentions,
mm,
a good way to approach the event. Developing your personal network. I myself have met people that I've worked with professionally in JALT as a result of attending conferences. Like
yeah.
a couple of my invited speakers I met at a JALT conference, and we have a kakanhi for a few years where we're
Oh,
working
okay.
at a film festival, Ashley Ford and Kinsella Valleys, and they
Oh,
will be
yeah, yeah, yeah,
hosting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know
Yeah,
them.
so we've been working together. I've also met people that have helped me with leadership and technology, and myself coming to KOTESOL conferences for sure has changed the way I teach, because I want to always be coachable and to be learning myself. And I think learning from our students and from people of all different ages is a really good attitude. because we don't know where the best ideas are coming from. And
Yeah, 100%.
the way, especially education and the whole world right now, is in one of the most extreme states of change. I think resting into accepting that change is happening and we can sit in the middle of it and we don't have to be so overwhelmed. I think when we have the
Mm.
community, when we feel like we're together in it, of course it is overwhelming. Like right now, politically, economically, on a
Yeah.
global scale, not just with education, but everything. So being with others can be really comforting. And yeah, the social side is important. KOTESOL has a Saturday night social. Um, that we encourage people to attend, just like at the JALT event where we
Yeah, yep, same. Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. We
chat
have those social
about
events.
like small talk, our daily life, get to know each other. I think that that is really, really important as well. And of course, I'm curious to see what I'm going to learn from the event, from our presenters and our attendees, um, and hope to encourage people to, yeah, like make it their own. You've probably seen a lot of different situations happening. As a planner too, I think we have the understanding that there's so much that goes into it. It
Yeah,
starts a year in advance. There are so many meetings, so many discussions,
yep.
working with all different kinds of people with a lot of perspectives and communication styles and schedules and needs.
Oh yeah, it's good.
I've
For
learned a
sure.
lot this year, for sure. It's very humbling, and it's just something that takes so many people to bring together. It's such a massive event. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to the buzz and hum the day of, but I can't help but thinking of the layers of time, the plans, the meetings. So much effort has been put in by in my team, I have people who are veterans of 20 years inside the conference team, as well as new people interacting with really great new ideas and trying to bring
mm,
these things together has been really exciting and takes a lot of energy. And we have to really want to be doing it, I think. What is your biggest motivation as a conference director, Wayne? What keeps you coming back?
well, actually, like what you just said at the end there, it's the dynamic of the people, the dynamism of the people that you work with. Um, Especially since I imagine like Korea TESOL's a largely volunteer organization. So you're asking people for their time to be part of this bigger thing. So you're asking them to put in their real, take time away from their families, whatever else they're doing, and to kind of create this larger narrative. And I think for me, that's that's kind of what keeps me coming back is that I just get to work with great people. Um, I think if the people weren't great, if I felt burned out by interacting with the people, I would have stopped years ago. I would have been like, okay, I'm done. I did it my 2 years. I was on the board for 2 years. Okay. I got my notch in my belt. I was director of a conference. I was director of a major conference. I can say that. I can put that on my resume, done. Um, I think if it were just that, it would be, yeah, I would be done. But for me, I'm kind of all in. And that's why I keep coming back. But I'm all in on the people. I just love the people I'm working with. And you see from different aspects. You have our office staff. So we have 4 office staff that we work with, and they're amazing people. For the organization that we have these 4 professional staff who do all things from our accounting to scheduling to all the day-to-day activities, logistics that keep an organization going. That if they weren't there, we would have to do that, and that would just be crazy because they navigate the Japanese side of everything, right? So that's really huge. But when you get to work with people like that, and then on the other side, you get to work with, the all the different JALT volunteers and what they know and what they bring to the table. You just realize that you're learning a lot. So for me, it's a learning experience as well, not just a leading experience, but a learning experience. Is that I just know so much more now than I did when I first started this. And I'm a much more evolved person. So in some way, maybe it's a little selfish, but I think it's a good selfishness because you're allowing other people to teach you things, you know? It's not like, oh, I'm going to impart my knowledge on everybody else or show them my way, show them my philosophy. Yeah, it's a give and take, you know? There are things I can contribute and there's a lot that other people can contribute. And if, you have that, you just stay inspired, which is a great thing. Um, so, and then I guess last is, yeah, again, it goes back to the people, but I get to work with friends. So I've made this amazing network of friends and, um, not just professional acquaintances, but people who I can genuinely call like my friends. And I take that very seriously. I made a little thing on the JALT stage last year that once you're part of once you've worked with the JALT conference committee, I consider you family. And I say I don't use that term lightly because I think we're very fortunate to be in this situation where we can work with each other and there's a give and take, you know? It's just like your brother and your sister. You may not agree with everything they do or everything they say, but when it comes down to it, when they ask for your help and they need you, you're there, you know? And that's kind of what I likened it to. I said, I think that just keeps me inspired, that keeps me going, you know? I I think the obvious I think the side about uh, doing this, putting together this big show, this big thing, this big experience. Um, I think that can definitely keep you inspired. That can definitely keep you moving. But I think then it becomes almost like a puzzle, like you're just kind of plugging things in. Okay, we have a roadmap. We just do this again. Maybe we tweak it here, tweak it there. But then when it comes down to the human connections, kind of like part of your theme, like the humanity in this, when it comes down to the human connections, I think that really takes it to another level. I think that takes it to another level of inspiration and the reason why, you do things. So yeah, you get a lot out of it. Eventually I'll have to stop, even though I'm motivated and still inspired, because I think there's also a part where you then kind of have to allow the next group to come in, the next generation to come in. I think my time is almost up. I've been doing, like I said, been doing this since 2019. So I think I think I've been the longest director of conference in JALT history, baby. But that wasn't by design. That was more like, oh, we just went through this pandemic. I just can't, everything's kind of up in the air. We kind of have to settle things down a little bit. And then, so let's try to figure out how we get back into face-to-face conferences. So I think now it's like, okay, now it's time to bring in the next group of leaders to kind of usher in the next phase of things and then just kind of let it go. So that's pretty much what I'm working on now. And that's also inspiring because you now I have to, you know, you've kind of we've kind of worked our way into this mentoring kind of situation
Exactly.
where now you're like, oh, I'm a leader slash mentor. So now I have to kind of people are asking me questions like, hey, Wayne, what about this? What about how do we design vision statements and mission statements and how do we do it? It's like, oh wow, yeah, I did that. So maybe this is the process. So now you're kind of mentoring these people. And that's very inspiring as well. That's very inspiring as well. So you go from being kind of like an active leader to kind of a mentor leader, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm also a leader on the chapter level, and I find being involved locally as well as
Oh
internationally
yeah, yeah, for sure.
gives us a larger network and understanding and looking for people who are trying to find a segue into the organization, coaching them into leadership positions. As
Yeah,
you said, mentorship is what keeps an organization healthy and vibrant and alive because we
yep,
have to keep connected to the pulse of what is coming in. And there is a lot that can be preserved with traditions and organizational knowledge and wisdom and looking to the people who have a lot of experience So, as someone who really enjoys communicating with a broad range of people, I like that aspect a lot. But that's really essential. And I think all leaders are so valuable, and it's good to not go too far away there, Wayne. Um, I was
No,
also yeah,
I don't think Joe will
you'll
allow
not
me to
get
go.
too far.
Yeah, I don't think Joe
Um,
will allow me to go too far
no,
away.
they won't
But
let you
yeah.
run away. Although you run in your free time, I saw you out for a run in Shizuoka when I caught you I think
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Saturday where we had a little chat. That was really nice. And that is another thing. You have to stay physically healthy to manage this workload. It's like a whole other job on top of our regular jobs. Cotiso is driven by volunteers. We don't really have, I think we have one part-time accountant who helps a little bit with the national
Yeah.
event. We're largely volunteer driven. And although there's so many parallels between Cotiso and JALT works on a more expansive level, I believe. And one of the things when you were talking back about the pandemic that I remember some of the JALT leaders mentioning that they really liked is in the pandemic, it brought people together from other cities and parts of
Mm,
Japan that normally don't get to. And I realized that we're quite lucky in Korea, being a peninsula as we are, it can you can get to any part of the country in about four
yeah.
hours on a bus or on a bullet train a lot faster. So we do know each other quite well, like the different regions. So there is quite a lot of interconnectedness,
Mm,
chapter
I see.
leadership and international leadership. And something I love about attending international conferences is seeing how different cultures and linguistic backgrounds and ways of thinking inspire cultural practices. Like having cultural events at JALT in Shizuoka, there was that amazing drummer that just,
Yeah.
you know, put the heartbeat into the event literally at the beginning. He was really
No,
magical.
yeah. Yeah,
I
that
love
taiko
that.
drummer, he woke everybody up for sure.
Yeah, we needed it. And
Yeah.
just the fact that also I'm a nature lover, so it's cool to go to different culture conferences and enjoy what is there on offer in the city and behind
Mm.
the city. Like I attended an event in Sapporo and was able to go snowboarding in Niseko after
Oh,
that.
nice.
And I've never been snowboarding where I could see a volcano across from me. And also Shizuoka had
Hmm.
Mount Fuji behind it. So, it's an excuse to travel. And if people have a chance to take a little bit of a look around, it is
For
professional,
sure.
personal, um, kind of a spiritual experience if you want to make it that, I think.
Yeah, one of the things that the past couple of years actually that we've been working with, and it's well, maybe since we've come back since Fukuoka, we've always tried to put an emphasis, yeah, on seeing the local area.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, maybe since scuba a couple years ago, we've been working with yeah, we have a volunteer. Her name is Naheen, and she has just been brilliant about like organizing um just like lists of activities and things to do and making social events more vibrant and stuff like that. But th those are the things that once you put a focus on that, it kind of goes into your toolkit, your best practices for a conference. Like, yeah, you're not here just for, you don't have to, oh, I'm only here for the conference and I have to see as many presentations as possible. It's like, I'm not saying not to go see presentations, but also take a bit and look around the area that you're in because, you know, it's also a very vibrant place, it's also a very vibrant place. So, for example, one of the things that happened in Shizuoka was that the Shizuoka Board of Tourism really likes to connect with big events like kind of like a conference. So they are asking us how many people coming here are staying in Shizuoka city hotels, you know, I don't know, so many. And it's like, well, if you get them to fill out this piece of paper, give it back to us, we'll be able to give you like a grant or something like that, some so that you can. So basically, they're trying to track how many people coming in are linked to your event, staying in Shizuoka, Because if you're staying in a Shizuoka hotel, you're going to like, probably a restaurant, etc. So the multiplier effect there, the feed-on effect, knock-on effect is really great. So we can basically quantify your event adds this much economic activity over the weekend to the city. And yeah, places like Shizuoka, these kind of smaller cities, they're really good about that stuff. They're really like, this is important for us. You go to some bigger cities like Tokyo, they're like, well, we're Tokyo. Whether you're here or not, yeah, it's a big event, but we got lots of big events. So they don't really pay attention as much to that. So you're kind of like, you can kind of do you kind of then have to change your plan. But
Mhm.
so different areas and different things offer different, different experiences. But the thing that drives that all is people going out and actually experiencing the local community. Um, and if you're just sitting in the conference the whole time, which again is great, that's your primary activity. That's why you're there, professional development. But you're also there, yeah, see stuff, go around, take some time and walk around the city, even if it's just walk around the city and check out the local area, like I said, local nature. And we all have K ties and cell phones with Google this and Google that. Just go see some local attractions because that's part of the experience as well. How many times, yeah, if you're from America or if you're from Korea or even if you're from Australia or Cambodia or Laos or Thailand, how many times are you going to come to Japan, to see stuff, So, this could be one of those things that, yeah, you use the conference, you come, you see stuff, and then if it really interests you, you say,
You'll
okay,
come back.
yeah, maybe I'm coming back, maybe I'm gonna save up some or really mark it off on my calendar and come back, and that's a great thing, That's that, that's part of what conferences are also for,
Yeah,
I
they're a
think
big
so.
driver for the country we live in too. That's a
Yeah.
tip. I might look into that. Well, in KOTESOL, I do believe there have been past international conferences outside of Seoul. It is the nature of Korea that it is so capital city centric.
Mm,
But I lived in other cities, including Busan, and there is a lot to see in the far reaches of this land. It's a really beautiful country. But
yeah.
we have a
That's
good
maybe that's maybe
relationship.
something I would encourage. That's maybe something I would
Yeah.
encourage is that um this year JALT's in Tokyo, and usually Japan is very Tokyo centric. Tokyo, kind of Kyoto, Osaka, those kind of cities, very Kyoto centric. But because JALT moves around, it goes to different areas. Like one year we're in Tokyo, next year we're going to be in Nagoya. The year after that we'll probably be in, I think, Shizuoka. We're going back to Shizuoka. So we kind of have like this rotation of areas that we go to. Some places a bit more cost prohibitive, um, venue and cost prohibitive. So it just costs a bit more, even though JALT's a fairly big conference. I mean, we're not like a TESOL International like that size. So we do have to, we can kind of travel around a little bit, but we do have to look for particular venue sizes that we go to. And yeah, and it works and it brings in, and usually the cities that we go to are a couple of major cities, Nagoya, Tokyo, a couple major cities, a couple mid-sized cities, uh, Tsukuba, Shizuoka, and that's kind of a good traveling model, for JOLT. And then we have our other conferences like Pan Sig that goes all over the place because it uses universities. So it's something where at that size you can go to like Pan Sig in like the northern part of Japan, which is right about here, or
For
Pansig in
your
the southern
reference,
part,
that's
like
handy.
down here. One year Pansig was in Okinawa, which is all the way down here in the south, you know. So that moves around even more. So if you have that kind of size, like you're saying, you have your 270 presentations, you probably have 500 so participants. Um,
We're
yeah, you can
hoping
really kind
for
of move around, right?
Yeah, we're hoping for 500, 600. We'll see. We're not quite sure
Yeah.
what to expect. Pre-pandemic, KOTESOL events were around 700 or 800, and
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
some past years,
Hmm.
over like 1,200, I believe. We're anticipating about, we'd like to say 600 people, but it's hard to say what will happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
our venue,
Post-pandemic has really changed a lot of things.
yeah, our venue just, we have discussed other locations, and possibly there will be
Mm.
future international conferences in other cities. We have a really good relationship with Sukmyung Women's University. In fact, our second plenary speaker, Dr. Kang Nam-jun, she leads the TESOL graduate program at that university.
Oh, cool.
Um, Her expertise spans from quite like academic, in a variety of learners. She was talking about how in Korea, kindergartners have been learning AI for the past 8 years. That was a surprise to me.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
there's coding games and stuff like that. And our featured plenary, Luciana de Oliveira,
Oh, yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
she's
Uh-huh.
excited to come and eat japchae and bibimbap. I'm excited to meet her. When you're
Yeah.
talking about,
I just saw on her Facebook that she's yeah, she's like my favorite food is japchae and
japchae, yeah.
you know, even over Brazilian food. And she says, "So imagine what's gonna happen next month when I'm in Korea." I was just like,
Well,
"Yeah, you're gonna pretty much gonna be in heaven." So,
I'm a foodie. I'm all down for food being the inspiration for anything.
yeah,
But
actually,
yeah,
speaking of food, I gotta say, when I visited Korea, um, last year, I was all my friends were like, "Oh, you gotta try Korean barbecue and yakiniku and the Korean barbecue." I didn't realize Koreans were chicken people. Like,
it's kind of funny. My students, there's actually a word in Korean. I can't remember. It's like chisunim or something, where they refer to fried chicken like as a
yeah,
godlike thing.
it's like
It's
I
kind of
didn't
a
realize
joke,
it.
but it's also not.
Yeah, I didn't realize it. But I came back, my friends were like, "So how was that Korean barbecue?" I was like, honestly, you guys got to go because maybe it's from some other city or something like that. But I was in Seoul. I couldn't stop counting I didn't have enough fingers and toes to count the amount of fried chicken joints there were, just and it's not like fried chicken in like big honking legs of fried chicken. It's like the little, kind of like little, cut pieces of chicken, and they're fried in all different kinds of batters and different kinds of sauces and stuff. I was like, they have like 20 different kinds of sauces that they put on their fried chicken. I was just like,
Oh
dude, these
yeah,
are chicken people. These are my people.
curious
These
about
are
the
my
sauce.
people.
You know, in Korean culture, the origin story of Korean people is kind of a competition between a tiger and a bear. And the bear wins because it sits in a cave and eats a whole bunch of garlic and becomes the first beautiful Korean woman to start, this nation.
Garlic makes the bear beautiful.
It does. I think in the flavor palette between, I love Japanese food too.
Hmm.
And I used to eat all those things. I'm vegan now, but there's every kind of food you can imagine in Seoul. Seoul is like New York. It's just massive. It's so dynamic. And the flavor palette difference would be spice and garlic,
Mm,
I think. But both
yeah.
Korean and Japanese food are really worthwhile. And just being in an international city, you can probably get anything you would want of
Oh, for
almost
sure.
any country's cuisine. So yeah, it caters to that. There are amazing museums. The university is located in the center of the city, close to Namsan
Yeah.
Mountain. You're close, you can get anywhere pretty quickly. Just like Japan, the subway, the bus. I recommend people download Naver Maps because you can just plug in where you want to go. It'll tell you exactly how to get there.
Oh, cool.
Taxis are pretty cheap. Yeah, transportation is nice, clean, comfortable. There's always someone to help you. It's hard to, well, I don't know if it's hard to get lost. It's probably not that hard, but
I
anyway,
think you probably there the first time. I do know when I was there, yeah, we visited like the War Memorial, and we
yeah,
visited
that's a good
a
one.
couple other places like right in the center city. It was July and it was really warm. I couldn't believe how warm it was in July. In the middle of July, it was like really. I was like, wow, it's really sunny and hot. I was like, this is great
Oh, it gets
because
hot.
I was
Oh,
like
yeah.
because in Fukui it was really it was hot, but it was like overcast and rainy. So I was just like, we were like in rainy season at that time.
Well,
So
luckily, it's a really nice weather time in the first weekend of May. Is it first May 10th and 11th?
yeah.
So there's sort of a series of tree blossoms, and there'll still be some trees in blossom. The weather will be rather temperate, and it's before the rains come. There could be some light rains. It's
Hmm.
hard to say. And also at Gyeongbokgung Palace, which is not too far from the conference venue, people can go get a tour, try on hanbok. Hanbok is like the Japanese kimono, the traditional.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we saw that. We saw that you could do that and walk around and take pictures, and they would do yeah.
Yeah. So we hope that people consider just enjoying themselves on all levels,
Mm.
however they can manage the time. And if they can't fit it all in, they'll have to come back and maybe come
Well,
back to
that's
Korea.
also another thing from Japan for all the Japan viewers of this. I'm on the west side of Japan, the Japan seaside.
I know
So
what you're going
my
to say. It's faster to come here than other
oh my
parts.
God, I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe not only was it
Probably
fast,
cheaper too.
it was the big thing is that it was cheaper. I was like, I think it was cheaper to go to Korea than it was to go to Tokyo from where
Oh
I
yeah,
live. And
totally. Yeah.
I'm just always stunned by that I can hop over to Korea in no time and it's the whole trip basically is cheaper than if I go down to like if I go over to Tokyo. And that's just it's not good, bad, or whatever. That's just a fact. Those are just facts, you know? It's
Well,
just like you can't argue when the facts are the plane cost is this and the Shinkansen cost is this for and you're just like, wow. So one way Shinkansen is almost round trip for going to Seoul. And that's just a fact. So
yeah,
yeah.
I love that fact. When did you come to, or when did you move to Japan, Wayne?
Oh, I moved to Japan in 2002.
Oh my God. We have
Yeah.
the same year. I came to Korea in 2002.
Okay, yeah.
Valentine's Day. So I say Korea is the love of my life. And actually, when I first lived here, in order to renew our visas, we called them a visa run. So I went to Japan several times to visit the Korean embassy to renew my visa.
Ah,
I've been
okay.
to a lot of places in Japan and Korea because I
Hmm.
love to travel so much. But it is exciting to understand that possibility is there for you.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of
Cheap flight
connections. Yeah.
even to Hokkaido. I think from Busan to Hokkaido, I got a flight
Hmm.
$150 or something.
Yeah, and you
To
can
see
take like
them.
you can go from
Oh,
Fukuoka, I think there's like a hydrofoil or something like that
yeah.
boat Fukuoka to yeah, Korea. So,
Yeah, I did the hydrofoil. I think I took the slow boat there. And in the slow boat, there's like a sauna on the boat, and it's
oh,
really
nice.
nice. And then on the way back, no, I can't remember which way, but yeah, the way back it was really fast, just kind of a speedboat going across. So we're interconnected.
So
And
yeah, there's a lot of connections. It's easy to go.
yeah, it just sort of, I think the conferences that we have been to, and hopefully this one and future ones will really provide seeds of inspiration. And earlier in the conversation, you were, oh, I'm selfish. I think leaning into that, it's not selfishness, it's what do you really want and how can you make it happen? That's what
Mm,
conferences are for. It's there to help people get what they need, connection,
for sure.
inspiration, anything. It could be bibimbap, it could be japchae, it could be Korean barbecue.
Or it could be 20 flavors of fried chicken.
20 flavors of fried chicken.
Uh,
I think that's a
so
beautiful point to stop, only because I'm actually sitting in my classroom and this is about
yes.
the time that students start rolling in, my early birds. So, any last thoughts before we wrap up for this conversation?
Well, I'm looking forward to coming over to Seoul and definitely looking forward to interacting at Korea TESOL representing JALT and yeah, and continuing my education through conferencing. So very, very, very much looking forward to um yeah, to everything that's to come.
Well, I just want to, there's so many names to mention of the people who worked so hard and all of the amazing
Yes,
ventures that are coming. But I'm so aware that behind me and around me is this incredibly talented, bright, creative, dynamic group of people that
100%. Yeah,
are presenting this opportunity. And I really encourage anyone to just grab the opportunity, hop on a plane over to Korea, or if you're in Korea, you should probably book
100%.
your transportation soon because things book up fast. But we really
Yeah,
welcome people who are teachers or interested in English education. We want to reach people teaching every situation, public school, hagwon, university, young learners, adults, everything. Like we hope to
mhm,
provide something for everyone. And as well, someone who might be an attendee for the first time might be inspired to become a presenter next time, might be inspired to join the team of volunteers, and yeah, make a network with people from all over the world. It's a great chance. So I can't wait to have Wayne in my city, and I'll probably see you at the Friday event
oh,
for
for sure. Yeah, yeah,
invited international speakers.
yeah.
So I'm not quite sure how to politely say goodbye in Japanese. I don't know if sayonara is really it. Sometimes I say that to my students as a joke, sayonara, and they're like, "Whoop." Do
Yeah.
it to my
Well, since
them.
since since we're going to see each other later, we could say mata oe shimashou. Like I'm going to see you later.
Ah, mata oe shimashou. In
Yeah.
Korean, itagaba.
Itagaba.
Yeah, that's more informal. Itaga 봅시다. Let's see each other next time.
Yes, that's
And
what we
I'll
would say.
continue my Japanese practice. Thanks,
Yeah.
Wayne.
Now I've been to Korea a few times now. I think I'm going to start learning my Duolingo Korean.
Oh, you should. And
Yeah.
actually, Korean and Japanese grammar is quite similar. There's a lot of similar vocabulary. So if
Yeah.
you've got a handle on one, you've got a good start to get the other one. Although Japanese writing is a little intimidating.
Okay.
All right. I'll see you, Wayne. Thanks
All
so much
right.
for your time. Bye bye.
Have a great day.
Yep. See you.
Bye.